Shemai everyone, how are you all? I'm back again with another Christmas card using another retired stamp set. And the one I'm using today is Season Like Christmas. Here it is. And it's actually, they call it two-step stamping. I couldn't think what it was called then. So I have done it and I've actually layered it up. Now on the one I'm going to make on screen, I'm actually going to put foam pads between each layer, but if you want one to send in the post, this is the one I'd recommend because it hasn't got so many layers. This one I'm going to be giving to a member of the family, so I'm okay to layer it up because I'll probably hand deliver that one then. And that's all the background is a strip of paper. I think it was last year's paper. I don't know whether it was Joyeux Noël. Excuse me. And it's just another strip left. And I'm on my use it up mission at the moment. So it's quite a simple card to make. You wouldn't have thought that if you'd just seen me faffing to try to remember how to cut the cardstock. But that's another story. So the first thing I'm going to do is, I'm just going to trim the end off here now. I'm just going to, it's very, very sunny outside for a change. So I've had to put my blind down. I'm just going to trim that off. I'm going to stick that on then, and then I can move the card base out of the way. Just give myself a little tiny reminder of where it is. I'm just going to stick that on there. I love tartan and this like a plaid sort of effect because it's just really Christmassy, I think. It was a lovely, lovely designer series paper pack last year. So it's quite nice to use it up, not leave it languishing in my box of Christmas papers. Oh. If you notice, don't worry. I'm sure they will notice the fact that it's slightly longer on this side than the other side. I can sort that out. So here we go. I'm going to use the colours Shaded Spruce, Early Espresso, and then Crushed Curry is going to be what I use on as the little baubles. I'm going to use a little sheet of this paper here. If you haven't got this for your Stamper Artist, it is really helpful because not only does it protect the black things, the black foam and the platform underneath, you can also use it, I tend to use it to stamp off, because I want to use just one colour of ink, but I want it to be darker and lighter. Sorry, I'm really struggling with my words today. There we go. So I'm going to try now, the part that's probably the trickiest on this card is getting your first three pretty centrally on there. And I'm doing this all wrong because actually I need to have all these together. I made this this card up a couple of days ago, and in the meantime my mum has been really poorly, so my head's a little bit in the shed. She's much better now, thank goodness. So what I did there, I just put a little bit of double-sided tape and then I sort of pressed it on my clothes to get some of the stickiness off. And you just want to try to put it in the middle then, so you've got the same amount of border all the way around. And then I'm going to do the same thing then with this top piece of card. The measurements for these cards, the small one at the top is 2.5 inches by 5.25 inches. Then the next layer, the second one, is 3 inches by 5.75, and the next one is 3.5 inches. That's the biggest layer then at the bottom, 3.5 inches by 6.25. What you're going to do then, you're going to put all 3 of these in. Now I'm using the Stamper Artist for this. You haven't got to, but with this sort of technique, sometimes, because the fact it's got layers of card there, sometimes you need to restamp it just to make sure it's covered everything. I can't quite get my washi tape is broken off my magnets. I need to apply some more. It does make it easier to pick them up. There we go. So your most important part is to try to get your first tree centrally. There we are, and then just pick it up then. Just try and move the magnets onto the corner of all the pieces of card. It also, using this paper as well, also gives you those the grid to line your things up straight, even when you've got the black foam pad in. So, with my shaded spruce, I'm going to ink it up. I'm just going to wipe that off the board there. And I'm going to stamp it off first. Just to get, because I want a lighter shade for my first layer of tree. There it is. Like that. Then I'm going to line it up again then. I'm just using at the moment just a piece of kitchen roll. Line it up again then. And pick it back up. And that's okay. It's giving me a little bit of the image anyway, but that's okay because it's in the right place. And once again, I'm going to put my piece of paper across there. I'm going to stamp that there. And then stamp it down fully. There we go. And then once again, I'm going to pick it up again. Now, if I put it on the top section here, you can then move it across incrementally. But I tried that. I don't know whether it's because of the size of the paper I used, but it didn't work very well for me. It was sort of in between the hinges, if that makes sense. Once again, I'm going to pick that up. There we go. And that little bit of double-sided tape is literally just to keep it there for as long as you need it, and then we'll be taking it off to stick them all together. So that's the first level of stamping. Now, if you notice, the top of my tree hasn't stamped there. So I'm going to bring it back in and press down a bit harder across there. And that's where a stamping platform comes in really useful. At least with them being photopolymer, you could have actually sort of lined it up. But it's much, much easier. It takes away the guesswork. Now I'm going to bring in the tree shape with less detail. And I'm just going to start on this one now. Now I've got the central part, I can just work my way across. Okay, so this time I'm not going to be stamping off. I'm just stamping straight down. So it's got the full juiciness and concentration of shaded spruce. Juiciness, I don't know whether that's a technical card making term for ink. Then I'm going to take it off, move it over again, and bring it in. This is such a lovely stamp set to use for this technique. And the reason I was inspired to do this one is because I made one like it last year and it came up on my time hop. And sometimes when you're running a little bit low on ideas and then you suddenly remember one you made last year and you can just sort of switch it up slightly. I thought, oh, I haven't done one like that this year. There we go. Last one then. The reason it's picking up slightly is because obviously these 3 layers have only got a little tiny piece of double-sided tape, keeping them all together. Right, next part are my baubles. I'm going to use crushed curry for that then. So once again, this is a retired set, but you can use it with any sort of tree stamp really. Well, any Christmas image at all. You can use this technique of like a triple layer card. And then the last thing you've got to do with it is stamp the trunk of the tree. Put that across there. So how are you all doing with your Christmas cards? Perhaps you don't make Christmas cards, perhaps you just craft the rest of the season and give yourself a break over Christmas. But Christmas cards and Christmas crafting are my favourite projects. I probably feel the most inspired with things like that, and that's why I love this time of the year in school, because we do lots of Christmas crafting, and I run a craft club with the little ones in school, and we've got lots of ideas for those as well. And I do Christmas craft fairs. I didn't do any last year, but because I'm producing quite a lot of cards at the moment, I thought let's try and spread the love and sell some on. There we go. So next one now is the trunk of the tree, and this is really clever because actually it's made so it misses all the greenery and is really easy to position it. And I'm using early espresso for this. And although this part is quite time consuming, hope you haven't all gone to sleep as you're watching me. I'm going to do that again, just get it a little bit darker. Actually making the card up is really simple, because once you've got your layers done, that's the hard work sorted. Now obviously you haven't got, the only reason this is taking a little bit longer is because it is a two-step stamp, which is sort of slowing the process down slightly. If you just had just a normal tree shape, a full tree shape, you wouldn't have to do all this in between part. I'll do that again. It's quite nice to see the sun shining out there today, because we have had torrential rain for days, I think. Feels like it anyway. And I walk my mum's dog for her at the moment because she's so poorly, and she hates wearing a coat. She would rather hide behind the settee and not go for a walk than put her coat on. So we have to trick her. When she's in the porch, she's got nowhere else to go, and that's when we tend to produce the coat. If she sees it before she goes for a walk, you can't get out from behind the settee. She's so spoiled. Right, so there we go. That's all the stamping done, you'll be glad to know. Let me close this up out the way. I've stamped the sentiment ready. I'm going to put one of these away, just so they go nowhere near each other. So here we go. Now there's the image, and obviously it is going to come apart. So I'm going to take those two off carefully. It doesn't really matter about the tape because obviously no one's going to see it. And I've got a bit of shaded spruce, and I'm going to stick this directly onto it. I'm just going to trim it down. that. Then for this one, as I say, I haven't on my other one, but I will on this one. I'm going to use a bit of funky foam, and that's all it is cheap foam. I think either from Pound Stretcher or somewhere like that. Just saves the hassle of 1,000,001 foam pads. And all you need to remember now when you're sticking this down is you've got to get those trunks to line up there. You can do it and have a layer of shaded spruce across the back of that as well, but I didn't want it too bulky. There we go. Put that on that one. And I'm out of tape. I knew that was going to happen, so I've just got an emergency roll by the side of me. In fact, I think I got 3 emergency rolls. I don't know how much tape I thought I was going to use. There we go. And that's that one made. Like that. I'm going to bring in the card, which I appear to have lost. How can I lose? Oh, for goodness sake, it's right there. Oh, there we go. I'm just going to position this on then. And I'm going to use tape for this one now because I've layered all the other layers up. I don't want it being top heavy and toppling over. I'm going to stick this one on. And that's all that's left to do then, is to add the sentiment, which says special season like Christmas brings thoughts of special people like you. And then the other lovely sentiment on there is wishing you a beautiful Christmas season and a new year of peace and happiness. There we go. Just gonna put that on there. Stick this down then. And then that's another one done. So once again, I keep all my little offcuts of Whisper White because they are perfect for stamping it. Sorry, that squeaks. Stamping your sentiments on. And that's going to go down here. I'm actually going to use some little foam pads for this. And once again, I've got green fingers. For some reason, my fingers always pick up on the greens and the dark reds. And it just will not come off.